Yes, you're welcome, everybody. So tonight we'll be looking at an important topic known as pricing, even though it's a topic that shouldn't give us much headache because we're going to be drawing from our past knowledge from the elementary economics in terms of the concept of demand and supply. But there is one aspect of it that most students always they are not acquainted with that aspect. But as a student of business, economics, accounting, we should be versatile in that aspect, which is the aspect of differentiation. Yes, it's not though the syllables will not test your knowledge in a broad way, where you be trying to differentiate to the second level, integrate, yes, to another point. But it's just a simple concept of differentiation that we need, or integration. If you've done macroeconomics during your first degree, you would have come across such, whereby you'll be asked to determine marginal revenue, marginal costs. Once you're determining marginal, anything marginal, it means you are differentiating. Yes, you are differentiating. So the point is this: what is price? What is price? Price is the value at which one item can be exchanged for another. Those days, even in commerce, tell us that before the advent of money, people were trading by barter, right? You exchange goods for goods. You exchange cowries for certain things, for cow, gin, gun, all those things. Yes. So in simple term, price is the value at which one item can be exchanged for another. That is price. For you to get something, you must give out something in exchange for another. So that value you are sacrificing to get something of value is price. Is price. So the concept of pricing is generally used in business and marketing. Yes, because you cannot sell a goods without placing a value on it, and that value is price. It's price. So the price is the amount of money or other considerations a buyer gives up in exchange for a good or service. So in business terms, price can be seen in form of monetary value aside to product or service. It can also represent the cost to the buyer and the revenue to the seller. That is price, because the value you place on a good to the buyer is a cost, but to you is a revenue. So price is a key element of the marketing mix. For those of you doing advanced these admin marketing mix, those marketing mix are things like products, price, place, promotion, and the rest of it. Because all this directly affects demand. And also, when it affects demand, it will also affect profitability. Once it affects profitability, it will also affect competitiveness. So, in simple terms, price is what a customer pays. Yes, is what a customer pays. So, an important decision for the management accountant is that of fixing a selling price. So, in this our discussion, we'll consider the practical, we'll take a practical look at how to apply these concepts of price, and also we'll take a look at the theoretical calculations that we need to know as regarding the concept of price. Now, When you talk about price, there are various factors that influence price. What are those factors that influence price? Can we speak to that? Those factors that influence price, aside what we have on the screen. Yes, factors that influence price. Yes, some of you are selling goods and services. So, what are those factors you look at before fixing your price?
Quality of the products can influence
Location.
price.
Okay, quality of the product. Yes,
Location.
What about the
location.
customer,
Okay,
customer
location.
willingness to pay?
Customers' willingness to pay.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
customers' willingness to pay. Yes, that is when you talk about customers' willingness to pay now, it has to do with ability likewise. Because you can be willing, but you don't have the ability, right? That is
Yeah.
purchasing power. We'll talk more about that when we're trying to define demand and supply. So, just as we've mentioned, the factors that influence price, one, it can be the cost of production. The cost of production. What are those factors that you put in to produce a goods? For you to arrive at a favorable profit margin, you need to look at all those costs. You look at all those costs. Once you look at all those costs, you now fix a selling price. So the cost of production can include things like raw materials, labor, overhead, and distribution costs. So for a seller or a producer to make profits, they must at least cover the costs, the major cost of production for them to actually break even. Madam Chikodile, I can see you raise up your hand. Mistake or what?
My mistake. Yes.
All right. So also, other factors that can influence the selling price is competition. Competition. In highly competitive markets, prices tend to be lower. When you have Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D selling same product, it means they are at the mercy of the consumers, of the customers. So it means once the customer walk in to Mr. A's shop and Mr. A is giving an exorbitant price, he has the liberty to walk freely to Mr. B. And if Mr. B's price is favorable, can decide to buy from Mr. B. So competition, competitors, these are factors that affect demand. For example, in monopoly or oligopoly, the firm might decide to fix prices. I believe everybody know what monopoly, oligopoly is. You know, those are elementary economics. They talk about oligopolistic competition. They talk about monopolistic competition, whereby you have one seller or you have few sellers controlling the market. Yes. So at that point, this the power to fix the price is in the hands of the manufacturer because they are just few in the market. So the consumers are at their mercy at that point in time. So also you can have another factor that determines selling price, which is demand for the product. Demand for the product. Is your product a necessity? Is your product a gifting goods? Is your product an inferior commodity? So when there is high demand for a product, the high demand allows firms to charge higher prices. That means your product is giving good value. So people want to patronize you more. And the more they patronize you, you see yourself as a king in the market and you tend to fix higher prices. So where there is low demand we force the seller or the manufacturer to reduce price in order to attract consumers. Yes. So demand for products is also a determinant, a factor that influences selling price. And other factors can also be the customer's perception of value. Yes, the price of goods in Abuja is different from the price of goods in certain locations in our country. Yes, now because the perception of value of certain products to some persons is different from the perception of value to certain persons in certain location. Another key factor is your income. Yes. Sometimes even when certain goods are not of value, but because they are hung in supermarkets and there is a price tag on it, you just decide to buy it. Even if one bend down boutique is much more better than it. But because of your income level, you want to be associated with a certain class of persons, and you can decide to give out what you have, your money, even though there is the value of that particular goods is not worth it. Yes, it happens very well. It happens. So the market conditions and economic factors, government policies and regulations, the distribution channels where you have the activities of middlemen, all these can affect selling prices, and so on and so forth. Product life cycle can affect the price of goods and services. So all these, they are just what we need to know and what you should have known over time. Yes, just so in fixing prices, there are various ways you can fix price for goods and services. We have the cost plus approach. We have in talking about the cost plus, you can have the full cost plus, you can have the marginal cost plus or opportunity cost. So when you're talking about cost plus in terms of fixing of pricing, it means once you determine the overall cost, what will be the margin that you add on it for you to be able to make a profit. So using cost plus pricing, the selling price is calculated by estimating the cost per unit of a product and adding an appropriate percentage markup. That is, a primary consideration will be as to what is to be regarded as the cost. Will the cost be full cost, marginal cost, or opportunity cost? So in full cost plus, full cost includes a share of overhead and also often includes non-production costs. So when talking about full cost, talking about both the variable cost and the fixed cost put together. That is full cost. When we're treating divisional performance, I think yes, we treated, we look at some questions that have to do with full cost and marginal cost. Now, marginal cost plus, the price of the product is determined by calculating the marginal or incremental cost of producing a unit and adding a markup on it. So when we talk about marginal, it means additional value. Talking about marginal cost, marginal utility, that is the extra value, the extra cost you incur or derive in producing one more unit of a good. So opportunity cost plus, this is a marginal cost approach, but also includes within the costs, any opportunities forgone. This is a case of relevant cost. Yes, when you're looking at opportunity cost, the sacrifice you are making in order to meet up with a particular demand is also a cost associated with opportunity cost plus. So in relevant costing, if you recall, whenever you are making a sacrifice, that sacrifice you are making is a relevant cost. Is a relevant cost. Yes. The sacrifice you are making in order to meet up with a particular demand or product, that sacrifice is seen as a relevant cost. As a relevant cost. So we have this example. just to water the ground. We have this example that a new product is being launched and the following costs have been estimated: materials 10 naira per unit, labor $8 per unit, variable overhead $5 per unit. Fixed overhead have been estimated to be $50,000 per year, and the budgeted production is 10,000 units per year. Calculate the selling price based on full cost plus 20%, marginal cost plus 40%. This is a very straightforward one. Can anybody speak to this? What to do?
Can I speak to it, sir?
In terms of
Okay,
yes.
so for the full cost plus, we're going to add the material cost per unit of 10 naira, labor cost per unit of 8 naira, and variable overhead cost per unit of 5 naira. Then because that will give us the marginal cost. So, but for the full cost plus, we need to add the fixed overhead cost per unit. That will be $50,000 divided by $10,000. So we have another $5 to be added. Then we'll do a cost plus of 20%. That's for the full cost plus.
Very correct. She's very correct. So the full cost plus, just as she has said, is we adding the whole cost, both the variable and the fixed cost. Now, for you to do this solution for full cost, so when we get to the other one, somebody else will tell us what to do. So for this, that is A now, full cost plus full cost plus the various cost elements. We have material to be 10, labor to be $8 per unit, variable overhead $5 per unit. Fixed overhead have been estimated to be $50,000 per year. And the budgeted production is what, 10,000 units per year. So for you to get the fixed overhead per unit, what are you going to do? If the overall budget for fixed overhead is 50,000 and we are expected to produce 10,000 units per year in relation to this value, what you have to do is to divide 50,000 by 10,000 to get the unit value. So now the various cost elements, we have material to be what? 10. We have material to be $10, and we have labor to be what? Labor to be what? $8. And we have variable overhead
$5.
Variable overhead, we have it as 5, and we have the fixed overhead. Still 5. So overall, full cost will be what?
$28.
Now, the full cost plus will now be what? Full cost plus at what? At 20%.
Yes.
Full cost at 20%. So it means what? 20% of 28 of $28 will give you what?
5.6.
5.6. So for you to determine the selling price now, the selling price will now be what?
33.6.
33.6. So it means if you are to make your profit now, your profit will be what? Your profit will be what? Selling price minus cost, right?
Yes.
And the selling price is what? 33.6.
3.6.
The cost is what? 28.
28.
So your profit margin is that 20%. So it means you're making a profit of what? 5.6. So this is how sometimes you determine your selling price. Yes. Sometimes most of the traders don't factor in quite a number of costs they incur before fixing their selling price. They'll just arbitrarily fix selling price without properly looking at the cost of transportation, various elements of cost they've incurred before those goods arrive to their warehouse. So this is an approach to determine your selling price using the full cost plus. Now, in terms of the marginal cost plus, what will happen? Marginal cost plus. Marginal now. What will happen? That marginal cost will calculate the selling price based on marginal cost plus 40%. So, can somebody else speak to this? What will be the approach now?
For marginal cost, you add the material, labor, and variable overhead. Then 20% of it. 40% of the total.
All right. Thank you very much. I was thinking some of you are in the kitchen and just hearing our voice. It's an online class. Somebody else can be doing something else and just be listening. So by the time I'm not getting response, I'll assume maybe you are eating or your attention is divided. So marginal cost plus. So we can have material. The value will be what? Will be $10. $10. And we can have labor. The value will be what? Be 8. And the variable overhead, we have it as what? As 5. So this is marginal. Only consider issues that has to do with variable. So the marginal cost overall per unit will be what? Will be
23.
23. So what is the 40% value of this is what?
9.2.
5.2. 5.2. So the profit element is the marginal cost is 40% of 23. It's 5.2. So is it 5.2?
9.2.
9.2. 9.2.
The selling price will now be what?
32.2.
32.2. When you do this, you can fix your selling price in this manner, and you will have a profit. You have a profit of 9.2. 9.2. Let's take it further. Let's take this story further. So we can have a case of optimal pricing. Now, what is optimal? Optimal. When you talk about optimal, what do we refer to?
The best price.
Right, the best, from the word optimum. So you always see this coming up even as you solve questions in performance management. So optimal pricing is the price of a product or services that maximizes a company's objective. And overall, a company's objective will always be what? To make profit, right? To make
To
profit.
maximize profit.
Yes, to maximize profit. Yes. So now, the optimal pricing, that one major disadvantage of a cost-plus approach to pricing is that it completely ignores the possible effect of the selling price on the level of demand. You know, as we were solving all those things, we're not looking at demand. We're just looking at the costs. But one of the factors that affect price is demand. So for many products, but not all, it is the case that a higher selling price will result in lower demand and vice versa. So it could therefore be worthwhile to reduce the selling price and sell more, provided, of course, that this resulted in a higher total profit. Now, the law of demand states that what? The law of demand. That is, let me say, the first law of demand, because we have many laws of demand, but the general one we know states what?
The higher the
The
price,
price, the lower the quantity.
Yes, that's the higher the price, the lower the quantity. But first, what is demand? What is demand?
Is an amount of goods and services an individual is willing and able to buy at a particular price or at a particular period of time.
Okay, this is making us to remember those days in SS1. They will be defining demand and supply, and they will be singing with it. That's demand is the ability. Yes, is the ability and willingness of a consumer to purchase a good. So the law of demand states that when the price is low, all things being equal, a rational consumer will buy more. But when the price is high, we tend to reduce the quantity he or she is willing to buy. So for an organization, a producer, to make more profits, it's better they look at the market and see how best they can fix the price in order to achieve the best profit expected in the market. Now, looking at this question, that Kennedy PLC has established that the price-demand relationship is as follows. The price-demand relationship is as follows. When you have a selling price of $16, the demand is what? 100. When the selling price reduces to 15.5, the demand increase to 200. When it's reduced further to 15.5, the quantity demanded increased to 300. When demand or the price reduced to 14.5, quantity demanded increased to 400. In like manner, so they have also established that the cost per unit for production of jars of coffee is as follows. Now, the cost of producing 100 coffee in terms of per unit, the cost of one is what? $14. Now, the more you produce, the lower the cost. This is economies of scale now. Economies of scale. Yes, that means that is the larger the quantity you produce, the lower the cost per unit. Yes, the cost per unit. So as you increase your production to 300, the cost also reduce, even with a little margin. As you increase the quantity you have to produce, the cost, the overall cost per unit reduces likewise. You can see it. You can see it declining. The question is this: determine the optimal selling price in order to maximize profit. The optimal selling price. The optimal selling price in this regard is what will be the best price that will yield the highest profit. The best price that will yield the highest profit. For us to solve this, we have to present it in a table, present all this information. This information, we present it in a table that's determine the optimal selling price in order to maximize profit. Yes, so optimal selling price to maximize profits. Optimal selling price to maximize profits. So we can have it this way. And have its rows. And these can be. So we have selling price as it relates to demand. We can have the costs per unit to produce 1 unit. And when you have the costs per unit, I think these are the two, yes, cost per unit, the demand, and the quantity now. So in relation to demand, the question is asking us to determine the optimal selling price in order to maximize profits. In relation to this demand, what would be the best price that will give us the highest profit? Now, for the selling price, we have 16, 15.5, 15, 14.5, 14, 13.5, and 13. So we have 16, 15.5, we have 15, we have what? 14.5, we have 14, and also we have what?
13.5.
13.5, and we have 13. The demand, for demand, we have 100, 200 to 700. Demand 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and we have what? 600 and 700. Now, the cost per unit is also given. The cost per unit. Now, we have, when it is 100, it's 14, 13, in that order. So the cost per unit, $14. We have 13.9. We have 13.8. And we have 13.7. And also 13.6. Also 13.5. And also what? 13.4. Now, looking at this, how will you determine your total revenue? How will you determine your total revenue looking at this? Because the question wants us to know which selling price will give us the best profit. So we need to know our total revenue. We need to know our total costs. Then the difference between our total revenue and our total cost will give us our total profit. We can also decide to go further to determine our marginal revenue and our marginal cost. So now, looking at this now, how will you determine your total revenue? Somebody should help me.
Let me try. Can it be selling price multiplied by demand?
And that is it. Yes, selling price multiplied by demand. Revenue is what you will get. And what will you get is when you sell. So the selling price associated with the respective demand will give you the total revenue. And the total cost will be what? The cost of producing one unit associated with the number of demand. Side by side, you have the total cost. So for when demand is 100 and selling price is $16, the total revenue will be what? Total revenue will be what?
1,600.
1,600. And when the price is 15.5 and demand is 200, the total revenue will be what?
2,100.
3,100.
3,100, yes.
And when the selling price is 15 and demand is 300, we have it as what?
4,500.
3,100.
And when selling price is 14.5 and demand is 100, the revenue will be what?
5,800.
2,900.
5,800.
And when selling price is 14 and demand is 500, the revenue will be what?
7,000.
And when selling price is 13.5 and demand is 600, we have a revenue.
8,100. 8,100.
And this 13 against 700 to be what?
9,100.
So for the total costs now, total cost, when demand is 100 and cost is 14, total cost will be what?
1,400.
And for this, 13.9 against 3,000.
2,780.
Okay, 2,780 and 300 against 13.8. We have it
4,140.
4,000.
4,140.
And for this, 400 against 13.7.
5,480.
And for this, 13.6 against 500. This 6,800. And for this, 600 by
6,800.
yes, 600 against 13.5. You'd have
8,100.
8,100. And for this,
9,380.
9,380. So the total profit will be what now?
The total revenue minus the total cost.
So for this, when demand is 100, the profit will be revenue.
200.
The profit will be 200, and this will be what? Should be 320.
320.
And this should be 45414. Should be 360.
360.
And this 585480. It should be 320. And 7,000
200.
with 200. And this will be what? 0 here.
0.
And this. And this
280. Negative 280.
Is a loss here. 280. I'm looking at the question now that determine the optimal selling price in order to maximize profit. So at what price do you have the best profit?
At 15 naira.
15 naira.
Yes, at 15 naira. At 15 naira. So the optimal selling price is 15 naira per unit. 15 naira per unit, because it is the price where you have the highest profits. It is the price that will produce the highest profits. It means you sell more at this price. When you sell, you get the best profits at 15 naira. You can go further to determine your marginal revenue if you want. Marginal revenue, just for understanding purpose. Marginal revenue. How do you determine marginal revenue? Marginal, we say, is additional revenue. that will occur as a result of additional units sold. Now, for when demand is 100, what will be the marginal revenue? 16 minus 0. 16, because there's nothing before 16. So it is present minus previous. The present here minus previous is what? The previous is nil. So 16 minus 0, you have a marginal revenue of what?
16.
Of 16. When demand is 200, the revenue is 31. What will be the marginal, the additional from the previous to the present? 31 minus 16. You have what? 15. 15. When demand is 300, revenue total is 45. 45 is the present, previous is 31. The difference between present and previous will give you what?
14.
Give you 1,400. 400. When demand is 400, total revenue is what? 58. 58 minus 45 will give you what?
13.
13. And when demand is 500, revenue 7,000, less 58, you have what?
12.
12. And when demand is 600, revenue 81. The difference between 81 and 700 is what?
1001.
1,100. And for this, when demand is 700, revenue is what? 91. The difference between 1 and this should be 1,000. 1,000. So what did you observe? What is the trend here? What do you observe? Can anybody speak
There's
to
a
this?
variance of 100 naira on each.
Yes.
On each reduction of 100 naira as it is descending.
Yes. It means there is a reduction. Yes. A decline of 100 naira as we sell more units. You can see the marginal revenue is falling. It's falling. In terms of the marginal cost, when the total cost is 14, as at when demand is 100, the marginal cost will be what? Present minus previous. The previous is nil, the present is 14. 14 minus 0, you have what? 14. Now, when your demand is 200, the total cost is what? 2780. 2780 minus 14, you have what?
1380.
1380. So also at the demand of 300, 4140 minus 2780, you have what?
1360.
1360.
And for this, it will be 5480 minus 414. You have what?
1340.
Yes. And this will be 6800 minus 5480. You have what?
1320.
And for this, it will be 81 minus 68. You have what? 1300, right?
Yes.
And for this, it will be what?
1280.
1280.
1280. So you can see, you can observe something likewise here. What do you observe?
20 naira on
Yeah.
$20
Yes.
in a declining state.
So it means the more you produce,
The
the cost, marginal cost, yes, decreases. Yes. So in simple terms, let me just write what the question wants us to, the response to the question. That's The response to the question is the optimum selling price is $15 per unit. $15 per unit. Let's take it further. Let's take it further now. Now we have the concept of elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand. When we talk about elasticity, from the word elastic, what do we refer to?
Is the degree of responsiveness of price to change as a result of change in the determinant of demand.
Yes. It means as price changes, what is your reaction as a consumer? As the price of a good increase from 5 naira to 10 naira, what is your responsiveness? Do you react? What is the margin of your responsiveness? If the price changes from 5 naira to 10 naira and you still obtain the same quantity you were obtaining when the price was 5 naira, it means to you the price is inelastic, because when you measure elasticity will be 0.0000, because there is no difference between when the price is 5 naira and when the price increased to 10 naira. You were still buying same quantity. But when the price increased from 5 naira to 10 naira, and when the price was 5 naira, you were obtaining 20 units. So as the price increased from 5 naira to 10 naira, you reduce the quantity you purchase to, let's say, 5 units. When you measure the elasticity of demand, it will clearly show that the price is perfectly elastic, because when the result is higher than 1, it shows it is perfectly elastic. But when it is 1, it shows that it is what? Unitary elastic. But that is not, I don't want us to look at each of all those things, but we must understand this concept. If you check your study pack, you see all these there. Yes. So in the previous example, a reduction in the selling price results in an increase in demand and vice versa. So this is true of many products, but the effect of selling price on demand will be different for different products. So the effect of selling price on demand is also likely to be different for the same product at different levels of selling price. So it means that depending on the type of goods, when certain goods are of necessity, no matter how you increase the price, people will still buy, such as fuel. Yes. When it was increased from a particular amount to the present amount, what Nigerians will do is just to make noise on social media, but still, they will still get money to buy. Yes, it shows that they have strong resilience. Yes, so even when the price is still increased today now, before we wake up and I say price increase, all we'll do is to still lament, or we still buy. Yes, so depending on the nature of the goods, there are some goods when the price increase, you don't even look at that goods again because you have substitute for it. But there are certain products that where you don't have substitute and you just have to make requests for them. So a measure of the size of the effect on demand of a change in selling price is called the price elasticity of demand. It's called the price elasticity of demand. So elasticity of demand measure how sensitive the quantity demanded of a product is to a change in its price. It means as the price changes, what is your reaction? For example, if price changes by 1%, how much percentage will demand change? So the formula is percentage change in demand divided by percentage change in price. But my question to you now is, how do you determine percentage change in demand? How do you determine percentage change in price? Anybody? This is
I think is you compare the I don't know. I just want to try. I'm trying to remember this. I think it's the previous demand, or I don't know. Let me see if demand comparing to demand multiplied by 100. Am I correct?
all right. You're fine. Yes, comparing to demands. Yes, it means you have old quantity and you have new quantity, right? So the change is old minus new divided by new multiplied by 100. So for change in demand, the old quantity minus the new quantity divided by what? The new quantity. Divided by the new quantity. Multiplied by 100. For price, the old price minus the new price divided by the new price, you get your change in price. Your change in price. So a high price elasticity of demand means that the demand is very sensitive to changes in price or elastic. And a low price elasticity of demand means that the demand is not very sensitive to change in price. That is when you 0.0 point this, it means it is inelastic. How you increase the price? You still purchase the goods they were purchasing for price changes. So formula is percentage change in price. Let's see if we can look at an example regarding that. Please, for the formula of change is old quantity less new quantity divided by new quantity multiplied by 100. Multiplied by 100 over 1. For change in price, it is old price less new price divided by new price multiplied by 100 over 1. Yes. So now let's look at an example regarding this. Let's look at an example now regarding this. Now, using the figures from example 2, that is the example we look at with those tables, calculate the price elasticity of demand if the current selling price is $16 per unit. That is one. And also we need to calculate if the current selling price is $15 per unit. So now, when you go back to that table, if the current price is $16 per unit, what is the old price? Let's go back there. If the current price is 16, the old price is what? 15. 15. 15. This is just a scenario to explain. We're just trying to use this to explain the elasticity of demand. So if the current price is 16 and the old, you said?
Is the current price 16 or 15.5?
It's 16 from the question. Okay. Yes. From the, yes. If the current selling price is 16 per unit, $16 per unit. So the old value, the old selling price is 15.5. The question is, what is the elasticity of demand now regarding to this?
Okay, sir.
Okay, you want to speak to it?
No, I have a question to ask because I But I think I get it now. I understand now. It's fine, sir.
All right. So from these now, the formula is what? Let me go and pick the formula again. This is the formula. This is the formula. So now the percentage change in demand will be what? What is the quantity associated with each of those prices? The quantity associated with each of those price. When, if this is the new price, the quantity associated with it is what? Is 100. 100. If this is the old price, the quantity associated with it is what?
200.
So what will now be the percentage change in demand?
So now the old quantity. Old quantity.
So the
That's
old
200
quantity is
minus
what?
100.
200
It's 200
minus 100
minus 100.
divided by 100
Divided by 100 times
So
100.
multiplied by 100. So when you do that, the result will be what?
1%.
Okay, the result will be what?
1%.
1%. Okay. Now this is for percentage change in demand. Now let me present percentage change in demand. Percentage change in demand. Percentage change in demand. Now, for percentage change in price, what will you have now?
Hello, sir, please. This percentage change in demand 200, you said is in the question. I can't find it. This 200 percentage change in demand, is it the one you solved in the table?
Okay. 15.5.
This is it, sir. 200. When the price is old, 15.5, the demand, the quantity associated with it is 200. When the price is new, $16, the quantity associated with it is 100. So 200 minus 100 divided by 100.
Okay.
So the percentage change
in price.
Percentage change in price will now
It
be
will
what?
be 15.5. 15.5. 16 minus 15.5. Is it new? Is it not old? Old minus
Old
new.
price. It's
15.5 minus 16.
Minus
16. Yeah. Minus 16.
Divided
by 16. All into percentage.
So we have it as what now?
That would be 3.13% or 3.123.
3 points.
Minus, it has a minus sign.
You ignore it when you're solving questions.
Okay.
Yes.
3.125.
3.125.
5.
Hope everybody is getting this value.
Yes.
So when you now substitute these values into this formula here, you know, percentage change in demand, we have 1%, right? Percentage change in price, you have 3.125. So when you substitute this into this formula here, what will be your final results? I want to see mathematicians now.
3.2. 0.32.
0.32. All right. That is in percentage, it will be what?
3.2.
No, 32.
32. To be 32.
32%.
Yes.
Please make sure you substitute 1% all over. Yes. If you are not getting it, speak out. All right, fine. Everybody's getting it. So now, you solve now.
Mr. Dr. Kwek, please, can you go back to that solution? Yes. So percentage change in demand is the old minus the new multiplied by 100.
Yes.
But we did old minus the new over old multiplied by 100.
Percentage change in old minus new divided by new, right?
Old minus new multiplied by
Yes.
100. Old minus new over 100 by over old multiplied by 100.
No, over new.
No, it's
Over,
over new.
yeah, okay. Old minus
New will appear net twice.
yeah, old minus new over new multiplied by 100.
Yes. Yes.
What is the question, man?
Because as I'm doing this percentage change in price, if you do this one is fine, but if you do the same thing for percent change in demand, it will be giving us 100. If you do 100 over 100 will be 1 multiplied by 100 will give us 100.
200 minus 100.
100 divided by 100 times 100.
100.
Okay. Yes, people gave me the value, right? So this is 100%, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
So when you substitute now into the above formula, it will give you what?
32, same 32%.
All right. So thank you for that observation. So now, when it is when the current selling price is 15, and the old is 14.5, what will be the price elasticity of demand? Let's go back there now. When the current is 15 and the old is 14.5, the result will be what? The elasticity of demand to be what?
100 minus 300 divided by 400.
200.
So the result will be what?
25%.
I want everybody to solve it. That is why I'm not solving it. The result is what?
25%.
Can you check again, ma?
200 minus 300.
It should be 400 minus 300 divided by 300.
33.33.
Okay. You need to check again. This is it should be 14.5 minus 15 divided by 15. And remove this answer here. So when you solve, what will it give you?
3.33.
33.33.
Is it this one?
The price.
Second one.
33.33.
Okay, this
The
will give
first
us
one
what?
is 33.33. That's for the demand.
The demand will give you what, please?
33.33.
33.
3.33.
Yeah.
What of this?
3.33.
3.33.
3.33. So the overall result will give you what?
10.009.
It should be 10%.
Yes.
Sir, please, can you say this substitution? I'm not getting it.
Which one, ma?
The
Is it
substitution,
this?
the substitution, sir, for the 10%.
For the 10%? That is this 400 minus 300 divided by 300?
Yeah,
Is that
this
it?
10% that you're just writing now.
This
The last page that we're working on.
33.33% is percentage change in demand. When you place it as the numerator and place change in price 3.33% as the denominator, and you simplify further, you should have 10%. Now, there are different approaches to do that. Some school of thought will do it like this. We do it like this. 3.33 divided by what? 100 multiplied by what? This value is under this, but I want to paste it side by side. It will be what? This should be 100 divided by 3.33. When you do it in that order, what will be your result? I hope you get what I've just displayed. 33.33 divided by 100.
Okay.
This is how we present it. This is how
the first one.
Let me show it in another way. Originally, it's supposed to be divide by. If it is divide by, where is the division sign now? It's supposed to be divide by. This is it. Let me just use it this way. If it is divide by, it will remain 3.33 like this, divide by 100. Now, for you to now solve in a better way, you convert that division. It will now be 3.33 divided by 100 multiplied by what? By 100 divided by 3.33. When you solve, what will you have?
But Mr. Topa, why can't let us follow the first approach, the one that we use for the first one?
Yes, it's the same thing. No, it's the same thing. I'm just trying to simplify it to our understanding. Yes, in the first instance, everybody was walk straight forward, and you derive what is the value? You derive 32%. Yes.
Yeah, but
so it's still the same approach.
approach.
When you solve this, 10%, which is the change in demand, as the numerator, and percentage change in price is 3.125. When you substitute, you get you've gotten 10%, man.
3.999.
Have we obtained 10%? And I'm Linda Min. Okay, I don't think she's there. So we are still moving. We are still moving. Let's take it further.
Hello, sir.
And with you,
Is
sir?
the final, is the final answer 10%?
Yes, sir.
I divided 33.33 divided by 3.33. It gave me 10.009. I times it with 100, that's percentage. It gave me 1,000.
Mm-mm.
Can you come again, sir?
33.33
Mm-hmm.
divided by
Is that
3.33 is equal is
that
10.009.
yes?
There's
That
10.009 now. I converted it to percentage by 100, and it gave me 1,000.
that's 33.33 is already in percentage, sir. If you want to do that approach, you say 33.33
Okay.
divided by 100.
Okay.
Then you get 0.000. Then 3.33 divided by 100.
Okay.
But those values you have, 33.33, they are already in percentage.
No. The first one we did, we used that 1%. We divided 1% by 3.125. We got to 0.32. We converted it to percentage to get 32%.
Yeah.
Yes, you can still do it. Okay, let's punch your calculator, sir. Now,
That's what the first one we did was 1%. It's already in percentage. The first one already in percentage.
Let's
That
follow the first
1%.
approach.
That first
This one is a
percent,
little
that
bit
first one is already in percentage. So
fine.
that 1% divided by 3.125 gave us 0.32. I converted it to percentage. It was now
it is
became 32%.
100%. 100%. 100 divided by 100 is what?
1.
Is
It's
1.
1.
Yes. Please, everybody, punch your calculator. Do this. Just do this for me. 100 divided by 100. Multiply by what? Multiply by 100 divided by 3.125. Just punch this and give me the result, please.
32.
32. It's same thing. It's same thing I've shown in this place. That's what? 33.33%. That is 33.33 divided by 100. Multiply by 100 divided by 3.33. This is the mathematics. Here's how to express it. So what do you get?
It's correct, sir.
Hello, sir.
It's
Hello, Mr. Tokwe.
I got 10.009.
So this is the mathematics. This is the simple math. This is the simple math.
I have
So,
a question here.
what-
Mr. Tokwe, I have a question here.
What is
It's
the
like
question,
we are driving towards, to achieve a goal. Like this, your home. The way I did mine, and I arrived at that 10 something. 33.33 divided by 3.33. So my final answer, I now put it into percentage. That's where I did it.
That's what I did. That's what I
You're
did.
not
Now.
supposed to put it in
This your-
percentage again. It's already in percentage.
I just keep that percentage separately. I didn't touch the percentage. So I put
You're not
the
supposed to put the
numerator.
final answer in percentage.
Okay.
The
Yes.
thing is,
This
for
is
me, can I
this
speak?
is
But what was that?
This
So
is-
the
You do
first
that
one that we got.
33.33 divided by 3.3. You will just get 10 without the percentage, because percentage will strike off each other. If you
The percentage.
do it that way, you will still get 10.00 something.
Okay, now, okay, are you now saying that the final answer, we shouldn't add percentage to the final answer?
Yes.
You
Okay.
shouldn't, but for the
Because
part they're
because
No
asking
problem.
percentage
Percentage
change,
will
like
you
strike.
have
did you add
already
that percentage?
Mm.
you've
That
already
percentage will
done
strike
the
percentage.
the numerator and the
Anyway,
denominator have already been,
and
you've already added the percentage to it. So if you're dividing it, you don't need to put the percentage again.
percentage.
Yes, that
Okay.
is elasticity of demand for you.
Okay. No, we're
So
just looking at the
don't multiply the final answer by the percentage again.
percentage. Okay, and that means the answer will be 10. You're just looking
Yes.
at the shortcut in case of examination period. There won't be
No,
enough time.
no shortcut. Oh. Just you. The point is just it's simple mathematics. There is.
Okay. Eh,
It's
all
just
right.
all those indices we used to do. When you have one indices, you put it on each other and you do some kind
Mm.
computation.
But we students together with the lecturer, we arrive at the same answer. No problem.
Let's take it further. There is a point I want us to arrive at, which is very important. Now
Okay.
we look at optimal pricing using table. There is the need for us to look at optimal pricing using equations, using algebra. Yes, and this is very key. When you look at the past questions, you will see, I think there is a past question they've tested us on the table approach to what we've done. And if you check the past questions, I think I can see 2 questions where they are testing our knowledge on this equation. So using the optimal pricing equation, in one of the previous slides, we presented the price/demand relationship as a table and used these figures to calculate the optimum level of selling price from those available. So in principle, it will be possible to have an equation relating the selling price to the demand and then solve the problem algebraically. So the point is this: there is an equation, there is a price equation that will always be in your question paper, and that price equation is constant. The price equation is P equal to A minus BQ. That is, in the exam, you could be asked to derive the price or demand equation yourself from information given, or alternatively, you could be given the equation. So if you were asked to derive the equation yourself, then it will always be on the basis that the relationship was linear. So the equation will therefore be of the form P is equal to A minus BQ. And what is P? P is selling price. P is selling price. Q is quantity demanded at that price. And A is theoretical maximum price. That is, if the price is set at A or above, then demand will be 0. So when you're trying to solve for A, you're trying to determine the price in which demand will be 0. So B is the change in price required to change demand by 1 unit. That is the gradient, the slope. Yes, as price changes by 1, what will be the effect of price change on the overall quantity demanded? So in this case now, how do we determine A in a question? How do we determine B in a question? This is very important. Let's see how we determine A in a question. Let's see. The A, let's present it this way. If P is equal to A plus BQ, we said A is the price. A is the price when demand is zero. So at the maximum price, demand will be zero. So how do you determine A? Please take note. A will be equal to the current price plus, you open your bracket, current price plus change in price divide by change in demand. Multiply by actual demand. Multiply by actual demand. For B is change in price. Change in price divided by what? Change in demand. That is B. It means for you to get A, you must know what B is. Yes. You must know what B, because you need the value of B to determine A. So B is change in price divided by change in quantity demanded. And the change in price is the new price or the old price minus what? The new divided by the new. But you just look for the difference between the price and the difference between the quantity. So when you have these now, please take note of this expression, so that as we look at a question, we'll apply this, all these we've put forth here. Let's look at a question regarding this. Let's see a question. Let's see this example now. That a company sells an article at $12 per unit and has a demand of what? 16,000 units at this price. If the selling price were to be increased by $1 per unit, it is estimated that demand will fall by what? 2,500 units. It means a change in price, an increase in price by $1 will lead to a fall in demand by what? By 2.5. On the assumption that the price stroke demand relationship is linear, derive the equation relating the selling price to the demand. Derive the equation relating the selling price to the demand. Now, from this question, the P equal to A minus BQ. They want us to derive that equation. But the point is, what is A? How do we derive A? From what we've put forth before? What is A? How do we derive A?
We will substitute for B first.
So the current price in this question is what?
$13. $13.
The current price is what?
$12.
It's 12 naira.
$12.
It's $12.
It's $12.
$12.
That's the demand of this. Okay.
$12 plus what is the increase in price?
$1.
$1.
Divide by what is the change in demand?
2,500.
2,500.
And what is the actual demand?
16,000.
16,000.
When you put all this together, you get the value of A.
Mm.
Sir, I have a question, please.
I'm with you, ma'am.
You say the current price. The current price is it not the increased price? And you know the increased price is 1. The current and our old price is 12. The current price is supposed to be $13.
It's not at $13. That if the price were to be increased by $1 per unit.
Okay,
So
sir.
a company currently sells it at $12 per unit.
So the $12
So,
is the current price.
yes. So if we are to now increase by $1, what will be the effect of the increase on the quantity, on the current quantity? So
There'll be
it's
a reduction. There'll be a
so
reduction.
now for you to get, yes, there'll be a reduction in 4. So for us to get the value of A, so we have it. That is P. They want us to get this equation. P is equal to A plus what? BQ. BQ. And B is equal to what?
Current price. B is equal to change in price over change in demand.
Divided by change in demand.
Change in demand.
Mhm.
Change in demand. From the question, the change in price is what?
$1.
$1.
Yeah. Divided by what? The change in demand is what?
2,500 units.
When you divide this, you have what? The B will be what?
0.004. 0.004.
So B is 0.004. The A is equal to what? Price when demand is 0. Price when demand is 0. The price when demand is 0. So for A, at the maximum price, we said demand will be 0. So we need demand to fall by what units now? We need demand to fall by what units?
2,500 units.
2,500 units. So now, based on our expression earlier, to get A, it will be what? The current price is what?
$12.
Plus the value of B, which is 0.00
0.004.
multiplied by the actual demand, which is
16,000. That's 6.4.
So A will be equal to the current price
18 plus 6.4 plus 6.4
plus 0.004 multiplied by 16,000.
So
A will be equal to what?
18.4
18.4.
plus 6.4.
So 6.4. A will be equal to
18.2.
18.4.
Yes.
Now, since you've derived the value of A, what will now be the equation? What will the equation look like? You substitute this value into the price equation.
Maybe 18.4 plus
So P will be equal to what?
0.0004. 18.4 plus 0.004 Q.
$18.4. Sorry, the formula is minus, not plus.
Okay.
Presents plus here. B will always be a negative value. Yes. Either you so P will be equal to 18.4 minus 0.004 for Q. We don't know the value of Q. So they just ask us to present this in an equation. They ask us to present this in an equation. So we need to take it further to see situation whereby we need to determine the value of A, the value of B, and also we'll get our total revenue, we'll get our marginal revenue, and so on and so forth. So the question only asks us to present this to show the relationship or derive the equation relating the selling price to the demand. Relating the selling price to the demand. And this is just the equation, but this is not where they want us to stop. Or this is not where the knowledge should stop. The knowledge should go further. We should do more better. So that is why we're going to take this example to expatiate more. So a company currently has a demand
Hello, Mr. Tope.
for one of its products. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please, sir, before moving to this example, you've changed the positive sign to
Yes.
to minus.
Negative. Yes.
Okay, to negative, right? Now,
Yes.
here. Okay, when we are substituting for A, that $12 is still a positive. I mean, the sign there is still positive. I was even thinking that it should change to negative.
Okay. Okay. At this point here,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
0.004.
No, I need the plus sign in line
Yes,
with the formula.
Okay, yes, this plus sign here.
Yes.
All right, let me see.
Or is it in order? It's a question.
No,
So what are
no.
you
I'm just trying to to check
To
it.
check, to cross-check. All right. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Mr. Williams.
Okay, thank you, sir. So far, so good for the classes that you'll be holding. I just have a very brief question which has been troubling me. The question is this: in PM, so far, so good. The number of topics that we covered. The questions all look alike, but the example on the topics have been different and the solution. So we can be, because of too much, overload of formula, we'll be confused of what to do. We know what to do, but we'll be like, how do we do this now? So my question is this: do you have a guideline on question? Because they will look at the same thing. You're like, okay, can't you do marginal costing? Do like this. But when you want to now start solving, you will go further. Like you're writing in, I don't understand. So in the exam hall, how do we understand what formula to use and when should we use those formulas?
The person that will direct. It's a big question.
That is interesting.
Hey.
So now, in when you have formulas, now are you talking about when it comes to PM? I think PM is a little bit not having much formulas. The concept of the PM, if you talk about this in FM now,
Fisher formula.
if it is FM, that is fine. For PM, PM is most of the topics are not, some are related, especially when it has to do with decision making. But there are some topics that are standing on their own. And once you see a question on variance, even though variance is very wide, yes, you should know the approach to the question is leading you to. Yes. So in variance now, there is no tutor that will tell you that this is how you will always handle it. And the examiner will not always want you to always have a concept of how to handle questions. Yes, they will want you to think, except if the question is coming handy to you based on past questions. So the general point is understand each topic and solve questions in different aspects that relate to the topic. Yes, when it comes to performance management. So there is no standard or general formula for you to handle this, for you to handle this, for you to handle this. You must just be dynamic and read very wide. So if I should tell you that when you see this kind of question, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do. And when you enter the exam hall and the examiner tilts the question in a special way, you get confused. So what this exam wants you to know or want you to do is just to broaden your horizon and open your mind wide, that wherever or which angle the question is coming, apply these concepts, apply the knowledge you have on this particular topic, transfer pricing, apply the knowledge you have on variance and the rest of it. And that is what the examiner wants you to do. Yes. So, sir, I'll say there is no standard maybe formula for questions. So it's just for you to allow the question to lead you and guide you as appropriate. Then when you now move to issues of FM, SFM, that is when the issue of formulas and formulas will keep landing on each other. So, sir, just read very well and be fine.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Right. I'm just still trying to look at the observation, but I'll come back to it, ma, so that not to waste time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
All right,
I'll
sir.
still look at it. Yes, but I think it is fine. So let's see this question. That a company currently has a demand for one of its products. Of 2,000 units at a selling price of $30 per unit. Selling price of $30 per unit. It has been determined that a reduction in selling price of $1 will result in additional sales of 100 units. The costs of production are $1,000 fixed, together with a variable cost of $20 per unit. Calculate the selling price per unit. Profit will be maximized. We should calculate the selling price per unit at which the profit will be maximized. So in this regard now, we need to determine our profit. It means the concept of contribution is calling in this regard. Yes, it means you must determine your contribution. Your contribution less your fixed costs will give you your profit. Or before we do that, we must know the value of A. We must know the value of B. We must know the value of P. Now, if P is price, what will be your total revenue? If you have P as price, how do you determine total revenue?
Demand multiplied by the price. That's
Yes, as quantity
2,000
multiplied by price. Quantity multiplied by price. Quantity multiplied by price. Quantity multiplied by price. So for us to determine A, it will be what? The equation is what? The equation is P equal to A minus what? Minus B minus BQ. Minus BQ. So the A will be what? The current price. That is 30 plus
change in price.
The change in price divided by what? 100. The actual quantity is what?
Actual quantity is 2,000.
2,000. When you do this expression, the value of A will be what?
$50.
50.
And the value of B will be what?
The value of B will be 20.
It will be 1 divided by 100.
Yes. 0.01. 0.01.
0.01. So now, what will now be P? P will be what? 50?
50.
50 minus 0.01 Q. Now, the question wants us to determine profit. Now, we need to take it further. For us to determine profit, we must know our total revenue. And your total revenue will be equal to what?
60,000.
Multiplied by Q. P multiplied by Q. Take note of P multiplied by Q. Now, if P is multiplying Q, you have an equation for P, right?
Yes.
Total revenue will be equal to what? Q multiplied by what? All the value of P. P minus
0.01 Q.
So your total revenue will now be what? Total revenue will now be equal to what?
50Q.
Q multiplied by 50. 50Q.
50Q minus 2.01 Q square.
Q square, yeah.
Q square. So this is total revenue. So if you have total revenue, how do you determine your marginal revenue? What is marginal? Marginal, we said, is change, right?
Yes, an addition.
So if marginal is change, for you to get marginal revenue from total revenue, what do? You differentiate your total revenue. You differentiate your total revenue. I believe everybody in this class know what differentiation is.
Yes, sir.
Opposite multiplication.
No, sir.
That will be the Q, the R.
So did you mean
The Q, the T,
differentiation like in further mass?
Yes.
Very well, sir.
Wonderful.
Integration, opposite of integration.
So differentiation is a process in calculus used to find the rate of change of a function. So it tells how fast something changes. So when you talk about differentiation, you're talking about the derivative of a function in terms of gradient, slope. Yes, for those who have done physics, you'll be seeing a point, or you've studied math intensively. There is a point where you'll be looking for the slope. You'll be saying y minus y1 minus y2 divided by s1 minus. You are adding up. Why differentiation is reduction. So don't need to be scared about anything. Yes, we just show it in a very simple way. So we are not going in depth into calculus, but I know if you've studied accounting, yes, there is no how you studied accounting. These are me. That your part of your course content will be calculus, business mathematics, and as part of those business maths, there are aspects that you need calculus. Even in macroeconomics, yes, you do all this. So now, to take this further, for us to determine our marginal revenue, because you need marginal revenue, you need to determine your marginal revenue. And your marginal revenue will now be what? Let me just write this. That's marginal revenue, and it's tiny, is obtained by differentiating total revenue. So if the total revenue is as given here, when you differentiate this total revenue, what will be the outcome? So let's just show it that total revenue is equal to, when you differentiate 50Q. What do we mean by differentiating 50Q? This 50Q or this Q, it has a power of what?
Of 1.
Fine. Q is having a power of 1. So 1 times 50Q, 1 Q to the power of 1 minus 1. Let me show it. This is the differentiation. It will be the power of Q, 1 multiplied by what? 50Q. The power of Q is what? Is 1. Then that 1 minus 1. Let me make it a subscript now. So I'm trying to make it power. Let me see. So what I'm trying to do is, this 50Q, Q is to the power of 1. Is to the power of 1. So 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 will give you what?
0.
0. So it means that anything to the power of 0 is what?
Zero.
It's 1.
Anything to the power of 0 is what?
It's 1. It's 1. 1.
So this will now be 1 times 50 is 50. So Q to the power of 0 is 1. 1 times 52 is 50. I don't know if you get that. So once you are differentiating anything of this nature, the differentiation will be the coefficient, because 1 Q to the power of 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Then 1 multiplied by 50 is 50. So the differentiation of 50Q is what? Is 50. For these aspects now, who said she's not acquainted with differentiation? Who is not
It's me,
acquainted with? Okay, Madam Linda, me. Now,
sir.
this is it. Q is raised to the power of what?
2.
In this aspect, 2, fine. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus 1 is what? Is 1. Then this 2 multiplied by 2.0001 is something like this. Let's show it now. Minus, it will now be 2 multiplied by 0.01 Q to the power of 2 minus 1. So you have it as what? These powers already. Yes, I think they're in powers. Right. So we have it this way. So this power here, minus 1. This power here, 2, multiplied by all this value, will give you what? So when you simplify further, it will be minus what? 2 multiplied by 0.01. You get what? 2 minus
0.02.
0.02. So this q to the power of 2 minus 1, the result will give you what? Will give you q to the power of 1. It means q is still existing. So the differentiation of this will give you what? 50 minus what? 0.02 q. 0.02 q. So this is the marginal revenue. This is the marginal revenue. Now, the point is this. At what point will marginal revenue equal marginal cost? Because what we are driving at is we're trying to determine the quantity, this Q now. We're trying to determine the quantity whereby we are going to have our marginal revenue equal the marginal cost. Equal the marginal cost. So we need to solve for Q. So marginal revenue equal marginal cost. And in pricing, your marginal cost is what? Your marginal cost is same as your variable cost. Your marginal cost is same as your variable cost. So at what quantity will marginal cost equal marginal revenue? So if marginal revenue is this, if marginal revenue is equal to 50 minus 0.02 Q, your marginal cost in the question, the variable cost is what? Variable cost. This is
$20.
$20.
$20.
$20. So $20. So when you equate marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, the result will be what? When you equate the marginal revenue and the marginal cost, the result will be what? It will be in this form. Marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. We have it as 50 minus 0.02 Q equal to what? The marginal cost is what? 20.
20.
So when you solve for Q, you're going to have what?
1,500.
This will be 50 minus what? Minus 20 divided by what? 0.02 Q. When you make Q the subject of the formula, you're going to have what? This will be 30 equal to 0.02 Q, and Q will now be equal to what? 30 divided by 0.02. Q will now be equal to what? 1,500. Q will be equal to 1,500. So now, the question is asking us to do what? That's calculate the selling price per unit at which profit will be maximized. Now you have Q to be 15. when you substitute this Q of 1.5 into the price equation, what price will you derive? The price equation is what?
P
P
equals to
equals
A
to,
minus
M minus B. Okay.
yes. So the price equation is 50 minus what? This is it. 50 minus 0.01 Q. 0.01 Q. And since you have this now, the value of Q is what? P is equal to 50 minus 0.001. Q is what? 1.5. So the value of P will now be equal to what? 0.01 multiplied by 1.5. You have what?
15.
Minus 50 minus 15.
35.
It's 35 naira per unit. 35 naira per unit. But the question wants us to do what? To determine calculate the selling price per unit at which profit will be maximized. At which profit will be maximized. So the selling price per unit, which profit will be maximized, is 35 naira. It's 35 naira. But there is something in the question that the cost of production are what? Are 1,000 fixed, together with a variable cost of $20 per unit. So what would be the profit now? What will be the profit overall? If the variable cost is 20 and the selling price is 35, what will be the contribution at first? Let's start with that. What will be the contribution? The overall contribution?
65. That is 180.
Selling price is 35, variable cost is 20. You have a unit
15.
of what?
15.
15.
In relation to the total unit quantity. The quantity is 1.5.
Okay.
The quantity is 1.5.
22.5.
So do you have profit in the question, or fixed cost rather in the question?
Yes.
The cost of production are, so the difference between your contribution and your fixed cost will give you what?
Profit.
Profit.
21.5.
Profit. We have contribution. Contribution is equal to what? 1.5 multiplied by 35 minus 20. You're going to have what?
22.5.
22,500. The fixed cost will be equal to
1,000.
less your fixed cost, and your profits will be what?
21.5.
Profits will be 21,500. So, based on the question, profit will be maximized. So the selling price per unit is $35 per unit. That is the price at which profit will be maximized. So what is the overall profit that will result at that price? The overall profit that will result at that price is $21,500 because at the selling price per unit is 35, the variable cost is 20. In relation to the overall unit produced or sold is 15, you have 22,500, and the fixed cost overall is $1,000. The difference between your contribution and your fixed cost will give you profit. It gives us profit. Give us profit. So that is what the question wants us to do in relation to that. But there are different pricing strategies. There are different pricing strategies we must know. There is penetration pricing, there is price skimming, there is product line pricing, there is complementary product, there is price discrimination, there is volume discounting. These are some of the pricing strategies that we have to know depending on the circumstance that the business finds itself. So, price skimming, penetration pricing, when you're trying to have charge in the market, to take charge of the market, or you're trying to introduce a new product into the market, you look for a better pricing strategy to adopt. You don't just fix your price very high. You start going slowly and penetrate into the market. And you can also do random skimming of pricing. So there are various strategies depending on the nature of the business and where the business finds him or herself, the market conditions, the market environment, the pestle issues surrounding the business, and so on and so forth, will determine the particular pricing strategies to be adopted by a business. So, though I think in the slide, I have the explanations to each of all those items. Yes. So, there is this question here. There is this question here that at a selling price of $100 per unit, the company will sell 20,000 units per annum. For every $2 change in the selling price, the demand will change by 2,000 units. The costs comprise a fixed cost of $1,000 together with a variable cost of $5 per unit. Calculate the selling price per unit that will result in maximum profit per annum and the amount of that profit This is not far-fetched from what we've just solved. We'll expect everybody to be able to solve this. Expect you take this as an assignment to solve. So, Madam Tolani, I'll give response on that your question on the general platform. Yes.
All right, sir.
So any question, please? Aside that, I will also forward questions from or you can check the Pathfinder. Don't let me commit myself when I'm busy with something and I've already committed myself that I will forward questions. Please check the past question. You see question on pricing. Yes, we have recent questions on pricing. Can do well